Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really diving into something pretty fundamental.
Confidence.
Exactly, confidence,
Yeah.
and how it connects, intertwines with our relationships.
Yeah, it's a big one. And we've got quite a mix of sources to pull from today.
We really do. We're looking at Reddit discussions, always interesting, some expert advice from USU Extension, Better Health Channel.
A YouTube therapy session, the Gentleman's Journal, even Forbes on reliability, which is an interesting angle.
And another Reddit thread on what traits women say they want in men. Lots to unpack.
Absolutely. And the aim, as always, is to pull out the key insights for you, our listener, to give you that actionable understanding without just drowning you in information.
We want to connect the dots, maybe find some surprising links.
Yeah, provide those aha moments, hopefully.
Okay, so confidence. Let's start there. It's slippery, isn't it? We know it when we see it, but defining it.
Definitely. That Reddit post you mentioned had a useful breakdown, though.
Right, it talked about situational confidence, baseline, and then state confidence.
And that state confidence, that's the one that feels like the goal for many people, right? That sort of radiant in the moment feeling.
Yeah, the fleeting kind, almost. And the post had this killer line.
Oh, the rented one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Confidence is not attained, it is rented. That really shifts the perspective.
It does. It implies continuous effort. Like you don't just become confident and stay that way forever without doing anything.
So you have to keep paying the rent, so to speak.
Yeah.
But how? What is the rent?
Well, the post suggests it's tied to your state of mind, almost like an emotion.
And when you're in that state, your thinking changes. You feel more capable of bold action.
Exactly. And here's the core idea from that Reddit author. It stems from a subconscious belief that you're likely to win.
Win, like in life.
Essentially.
Yeah, a general sense of success.
Yeah.
Driven apparently by higher serotonin levels.
Yeah.
After you experience a chain of wins.
A chain of wins. Okay, so becoming confident means starting that chain and keeping it going.
Right, building momentum. And this ties into that whole loser versus winner mindset described in the post.
Which sounds a bit harsh, maybe, but the distinction was interesting.
It wasn't about literal winning or losing, but about focus. The loser mindset focuses on protecting what you have, maybe being defensive.
Seeing things as zero-sum. Whereas the winner mindset is about creating value, contributing.
Yeah, actively putting something positive out there.
And that connects to social settings, too.
Yeah.
The idea that the most, let's say, successful person is often the one contributing the most value.
Because of reciprocation bias, people feel inclined to give back.
Pretty much. But the key is you offer value with faith. It'll come back somehow, not necessarily expecting a direct tit-for-tat from every single person.
Okay, so it's not transactional in that immediate way.
No, but there's a warning attached, I hope.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't keep pouring value into black holes. You know, those people who only take and never give back, the selfish friends.
Be discerning with your energy and contribution. Makes sense.
So practically speaking, how do you start this chain of wins? The Reddit discussion had ideas there too.
Little things, right, like making your bed.
Exactly. Small, consistent wins.
Yeah.
A morning routine, taking things off a lift. It builds that feeling of accomplishment.
That feeling of, okay, I did that, what's next, creates positive momentum.
There was also that comment from someone feeling unappreciated despite giving a lot.
Right. And the advice was, interesting, don't just focus one-on-one.
Yeah, broadcast value instead. Share your skills or insights more widely. The idea being it increases your perceived scarcity, makes you seem more valuable overall.
A subtle shift. Instead of targeted giving, make your value more generally known. Interesting tactic.
Okay, let's pivot a bit. How does this confidence stuff play out in romantic relationships?
That YouTube therapy session touched on this. The idea of wanting your partner to fear losing you.
Which sounds a bit manipulative on the surface.
It does, but the therapist framed it differently. More about being extremely special, having your own center, being in control of your own reactions, not easily thrown off balance.
Okay, so it's about your own internal security, not playing games.
Exactly. And they pointed out that naturally, the more invested someone is, time, emotions, memories, the more they inherently fear losing the relationship. That's just attachment.
But the trap is letting that fear drive you to overthink or constantly seek reassurance.
Which can be self-sabotaging, yeah. Pushes the other person away.
And the therapist really emphasized men needing their own purpose, their own life, independent of the relationship. having a filled battery, so to speak.
Right, so your whole identity isn't wrapped up in your partner's approval. That avoids creating neediness or anxiety.
Which might explain why generic dating tips sometimes fall flat. They don't address that core need for self-reliance.
Totally. And this lines up quite nicely with that gentleman's journal piece on what women look for.
It really does. They listed things like sense of humor, faithfulness,
Confidence, obviously.
social intelligence too, drive and purpose,
See, having a life outside the relationship, independence.
kindness, passion. A lot of those echo that winner mindset from Reddit, contributing value, having internal validation.
It suggests that being a well-rounded, self-sufficient person is inherently attractive and makes for a better partner.
So moving on from attraction to maybe the foundation of a lasting relationship.
Right.
Trust.
Crucial. That USU expansion guide called it the bedrock.
Couldn't agree more. And they broke down what builds it. 8 components.
Let's see. Open communication was one. Honesty, active listening.
Consistency, being reliable. Transparency, just being open.
Empathy, understanding feelings. Respecting boundaries, huge.
Apologizing and forgiving. Being dependable when things get tough.
And vulnerability, being willing to share your real self.
It's quite a list, but you can see how they all weave together to create that feeling of safety.
And it connects back, doesn't it, to the therapist's point about being secure and the journal's mention of faithfulness and kindness. Trust isn't accidental.
No, you build it actively.
Ah,
And USU Extension also looked at the flip side, what men need in a relationship.
interesting. What did they list?
Support, emotional, practical, affection, physical and verbal.
Communication again. Makes sense.
Appreciation, feeling valued, security, commitment, faithfulness, and partnership, being a team.
Look at the overlap there.
Right. The things that build trust are often the very things both partners need. It's reciprocal.
It has to be a two-way street. Healthy relationships thrive on that mutual exchange.
The Better Health channel also chimed in on communication being key. Active listening, checking understanding, the basics, but so important.
Yeah, often overlooked. Now, that Forbes article on reliability was about business,
But surprisingly relevant. They talked about what makes a worthwhile partner in business.
and the elements were consistency again, meeting expectations.
Flexibility, commitment to goals, shared values, and strong communication. Being accessible, clear.
You could lift that list and drop it right into a discussion about personal relationships.
Absolutely. Consistency, dependability. It's the same foundation. Being someone others can count on.
It all ties back to trust, ultimately.
Okay, final piece of the puzzle. That other Reddit thread. The top 20 traits women want.
Ah, yes, the survey results. What came out on top? Humor, dependability.
Sense of humor, dependability, kindness, moral integrity. Those were high up.
Sounds reasonable. But the Reddit comments weren't entirely convinced, were they?
No, there's definitely skepticism. A big one was about physical attractiveness.
The idea that it's a baseline threshold, something crucial for initial attraction, but maybe not mentioned in surveys,
Exactly. Social desirability bias, maybe. People report what sounds good.
raises that classic question: stated preference versus revealed preference. What people say versus what they do.
There was also talk about beta traits, kindness, generosity being more valued for the long haul.
Especially by perhaps more mature women looking for stability.
Possibly. At that point about faithfulness.
Oh, that it means more if you have options but choose to be faithful.
Yeah. Adds weight to the commitment.
It just shows how complex this all is. Simple lists don't capture the whole picture.
Not at all. As someone on Reddit said, maybe watching who people actually date tells you more than asking them.
Fair point. So wrapping this all up, what are the big takeaways from this dive?
Well, I think that idea of confidence as something you actively cultivate, like paying rent through a series of wins, that's powerful.
And that contributing value, driven by that winner mindset, feeds into both your confidence and your social success via reciprocation.
Definitely. And for relationships, trust is everything, built through deliberate actions. Communication, reliability, support, empathy.
It's an ongoing process, and while we can look at lists of desired traits, the reality of attraction and connection is probably way more nuanced. Unspoken needs, initial chemistry.
It's multifaceted for sure.
So for you listening, hopefully weaving these threads together from Reddit insights to therapy advice to relationship guides has given you some fresh perspectives.
Maybe clarified things you've noticed in your own life around confidence or relationship dynamics.
Yeah, those moments where you think, that's why that happens.
So here's something to chew on as you go about your day. Thinking about everything we've discussed. State confidence, contributing value, building trust, desired traits, what resonates most with you right now.
And maybe what's one small, doable step you could take, even today, to start paying the rent on your confidence?
Or maybe to strengthen trust or connection in a relationship that matters to you.
Just a little something to reflect on. We encourage you to keep exploring these ideas.